Muni traveled to some abode, high abode, and he saw some invalid type of beautiful people. He said, why you're so beautiful, but somebody has no head, half brain, or half leg? And they said, we personified Vedas. And people, when they're pronouncing us, they breaking us. They make us invalid. Their Narada said that who can properly recite you? And after searching in so many universes, they figured out the only people who really can recite Vedas are gopis of Vrindavan. Because that's meant for Krishna consciousness, not meant for your personal upliftment, liberation, all the words like liberation and prosperity, the wealth, and everything there. But it's all finally linked to meaning, deep meaning of Krishna consciousness. Because what's the meaning to be liberated outside of Vrindavan? There's no meaning. Markandeya Rishi achieved immortality. He was suffering so much, or somebody can Indra. You can be, king of gods, and finally you're not gonna make it. So even the Brahma or other, demigods, they suffer for absence of Krishna consciousness. So Brahma, when the Brahma Vimohan Leela happens, Brahma prayed to Krishna and say, I don't want to be a creator. I don't want to be in charge. I just want to be like little devotee at your feet. And Krishna said, okay, will you become a Haridas Thakur? You'll be prosecuted, you'll be tortured, you'll suffer so much. But Brahma said, yeah, that is not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid forget you, my Lord. So when Brahma came as Haridas Thakur, they told him very simple, okay, you confess, you chant few slokas from, Quran, and you publicly give up this idea that you chant name of Krishna. And the king is very, it's all political thing, he'll let you go. But what I really love about Haridas Thakur, he said, it's way easier for me to give up my life than give up name of Krishna. In one way. Another way Haridas Thakur mentioned this important, beautiful thing. He said, I'm really, fortunate to be connected with that beautiful teachings of Mahaprabhu. So Brahma is positioning himself as a humble servitor of holy name, and not even coming close to Gadadhar Pandit, Swarup Damodar, not coming close, staying in Puri, watching from distance, not coming close where Mahaprabhu relishing his divine, pastimes with Gadadhar Pandit. So, and we're so fortunate that our Guru Maharaj is giving so many slokas and Premadhama Deva Stotram, Virahadasakam, and Prapana Jivanamritam, so much wealth, which is actually a pure extraction of highest spiritual substance ever. And if you really read the book like Golden Volcano of Divine Love, you will understand there's no better representation of Gaur Leela, and no one in modern world represent, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, although he wrote book Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Chaitanya Shikshamrita, and the Professor Sanyal, wrote philosophy of Sri Chaitanya. There's nothing like the Golden Volcano of Divine Love. This is a very, very deep things. So why I'm talking about these things? Because we were able to appreciate this by the Govinda Maharaj and senior Vaishnavas. And, when Govinda Maharaj were ready to depart this world, he said quite interesting things. He said, already Ashram, Janardhan Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj, many people, they already were gurus. They had a position of gurus granted by Prabhupada. But they gave it up, this pratishta, that position, for me. They sacrificed themselves to be my assistants, my associates, and showing with their own example that I'm not coming here for any religious purpose of establishing myself. Rather, connection with pure Vaishnava is the more important than anything else. So we have that beautiful ashram, which is carrying that memories and legacy of direct worship of Krishna Mahaprabhu, and legacy of people that have seen Srila Govinda Maharaj with their own eyes. So remember, somebody said about Gandhi, there'll become time when people barely believe people like Prabhupada, Govinda Maharaj, Guru Maharaj exist. They become so mysterious characters. It's like, if you see Jesus Christ with your own eyes. So we had this incredible fortune to not only seeing such a great saints with our own eyes, as also being able to participate in their pastimes, sacrifice for their mission, finally sacrifice for ourselves. Like Govinda Maharaj wasn't really demanding, Govinda Maharaj stay in a little room, you know, go to the sea arati, that was sacrifice for us, because he left the world and we continue. If we wouldn't sacrifice for him, we would end up with nothing. We would literally had nothing. No place to worship, no place to get together, no community place, and sometimes suffering, paying mortgage, or selling paintings or doing little work. It was not easy. Although we live in the most opulent area of the world, like the most expensive area in the world, California, and we know that this is like almost no place. Oh, you cannot build temple, you cannot do this, you have no permit of that. It's like everything you do is no, but for somehow Krishna made an arrangement that he stay in this beautiful home and receive service of devotees. So my conclusion is I'm very fortunate. I refreshed my memories about Gurudev. I saw all the fortunate devotees and their children, grandchildren, and obviously I had incredible darshan of Janardhan Maharaj, although it was like always I'm mocking him and he's trying to whip me.
Okay, I got to say one thing.
Okay, now he's gonna mock me. See, now he's been counting like all mistakes.
Actually, when Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he went to Russia. He went with Shyam Sundar to Russia, and at that time, of course, Russia was the Soviet Union. So in order to travel there, he was in Moscow, he would have to go in a tour group and, be under the control of
KGB.
Of the authorities. So Prabhupada sent Shyam Sundar out to look for some people to bring back so they could talk to at his own, where he was, in his own room. So Shyam Sundar came back with two people. One was the son of somebody who worked in the Indian consulate, and the other was a young Russian person who later became Ananta Shanti. And they came back, and of the two of them, they met Srila Prabhupada, and Ananta Shanti became, very powerful in bringing so many people to Krishna consciousness. And later, when that Ananta Shanti had been, arrested and treated with so much medicine and drugs and everything like that, then Govinda Maharaj went to Russia, and he said, asked about Ananta Shanti, and they said, "Oh, he's not active anymore," and they said it in a disparaging way, and Govinda Maharaj, he explained so beautifully. He said, "Yes, Ananta Shanti was Srila Prabhupada's dynamite, and when the dynamite explodes." After the dynamite explodes, you cannot find that dynamite anymore. But you can see all the effects that the dynamite has done. So in that way, Prabhupada, he met with Ananta Shanti and appreciated him. And then we saw that Avadut Maharaj and his father, actually it was Srila Prabhupada's desire to spread Krishna consciousness in Russia. That was a strong desire of his. One time they told Prabhupada, "Well, you're going to Russia, but you won't be there in India for mango season." And Srila Prabhupada said, "More sweet to be in the snows of Moscow than to taste the sweetest mango." So he is very happy. And Govinda Maharaj, we can say empowered or gave so much mercy to Avadut Maharaj, and also to his father Vijayaraman, who's now Nrsimha Maharaj.
Yeah.
So, and they did what Srila Prabhupada wanted to do. Srila Prabhupada wanted to preach in Russia. He wanted to bring people to Krishna consciousness and to give them proper conception, and now that is being done through through Avadut Maharaj and through his father, and I've seen that. In my estimation, there are two places in the world where Krishna consciousness is growing very, I would say, exponentially. One is Russia, and the other is India, I would say. And Avadut Maharaj, he's also, also I would say Srila Ashram Maharaj in Latin America, he's doing very nicely also. But I think those are the special preaching fields in the world. And you can say India. I say, yes, India, there's so many devotees, and it's the most important place in the world. And Srila Govinda Mela said, I am not worried about the West, I'm worried about India. So I feel now that I'm very happy that Avadut Maharaj has taken the trouble to drive all the way down.
Well, it's no trouble, it's Tesla's self-driving car. And Sudha Krishna is driving me, and I'm just like enjoying the window. But anyway, one thing about Ananta Shanti that you might be interesting to know. He passed away from heart disease, and before he passed away from heart disease, he stayed 3 days in our temple, and then the day he passed last night, the night before he came for me for dinner and program. So
when was that?
It was 1 year, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. No, 10, more like 10 years ago. When at that time was a big fire around Moscow. Too much smoke. There was like burning forests, just like LA. So that time was very hot summer. And I came from the tour, and Ananta Shanti knocked into the temple. And I said, hey, I haven't seen you for a long time. How have you been? And we had a dinner together. And he told me, oh, actually, I've seen devotees and your father. I'm selling my property in Moscow. I'm going to Tallinn, Latvia, Lithuania, and I want to buy an apartment there. And I found beautiful European, townhouse that I'm buying there. And he told me, my son died. My parents died. He was the son of a very famous professor. He said, all my family members died. I'm only alone. And he was divorced with his wife. And he said, I have this beautiful, apartment, 5-room apartment because his father was professor. I heard that property. I'm selling it and I'm moving to Tallinn. And he asked me, do you guys have a Chaitanya Saraswat mat in that country? I said, there's some devotees that, not the mat. He said, okay, my townhouse will be a preaching center. So we had a dinner, and that time I jumped on a train. I went to Ukraine, and his friend called me. He said he died last night due to oxygen shortage because that apartment was old, didn't have the AC system. So I kind of have to come back from Ukraine, and I call up ISKCON people, and I said, Ananta Shanti died. His actual name was Ananta Tirtha Swami, because he took sannyas for Hrishikesh. And then when he, after having these troubles, he went to India and he rejoined Ramanuja Sampradaya. He became Ramananda Swami, stay in mountains, and then throw his passport in the Ganga because he hated the Soviet. So he just wanted to stay like a sadhu, long hair, and he's very bad mouth because he always sit like yogi and he speaks very clear, and some local people, you don't play with this guy. So local people surrender him to police. So when he was sentenced for anti-visa program for 1 year in jail, the old jail used to worship him. So he sit in lotus posture in a jail meditating, and people come to him, and yes, and they offer him things, and he'd be he's like, you can understand, he's like yogi. Every time he sit with a straight face, and they would used to ask him, what's your education? He would say, highest material, highest spiritual. Because remember, he was he was Moscow University Philological, department of English. So he had very good English. He knew Sanskrit, English, Hindi, Bengali, like like it was like you look at him, you understand he's yogi, and he used to have like long hair, jata, so with a Aryan kind of face, looking like little Indian, looking like Aryan, like very firm space, and spoke many languages and very qualified in certain things. But before he passed away, he said, and we had a dinner. Like I didn't know he's going to pass away tomorrow. Like we're sitting and having fun and talking about things. Govinda Maharaj, Prabhupada. So he told me many of the stories of Prabhupada come to Moscow. He told me stories that nobody knew. Because Prabhupada, he wants to get an ashram. And at that time in Soviet Union, you cannot buy property. So he took them to outside professors, kind of like this. It's called dacha. It's like outside professor had a summer house. And it was like 30 kilometers from Moscow in a beautiful area like this, big land. And Prabhupada said, we need something like this for ashram. And he said, how much? And they said, oh, you cannot, Srila Prabhupada, you cannot buy this. There's property is not for sale in Russia. And he's like, okay, but how did you get it? So Prabhupada had many, many interesting things in Russia and coming here and hoping to establish some mission. And then finally Prabhupada realized there's nothing can be done from original formal organization. So informally, he initiated few people. Actually, one Ananta Shanti is another one who Armenian devotee who later came to LA, I think died. So Prabhupada had only 2 disciples, but the one is Ananta Shanti. So it's amazing that before he passed away, he had connections with Govinda Maharaj. He had a dinner in our mission. And after he passed, I called ISKCON and said, Ananta Shanti passed away. And just like Mar said, some stupid person who doesn't know anything said, oh, we don't know this guy. I said, all right, so I punched the phone of Bhakti Vigyan, their head, a sannyasi head, friend of mine. I said, Ananta Shanti passed away. I said, if you don't want to do his memorial program, I'll do it in my temple. I'll take his body, I'll do the program. But he's a Prabhupada disciple. He's like original guy who started ISKCON. You should do it in ISKCON. Otherwise, it will perceive as a wrong thing. And Vigyan said, yes. So there was one lady, Vani Priya. She, like very aggressive lady, and everybody afraid her. Because she's gypsy, she's like a psycho reader, like, interesting person. I have a good relationship with her. And she went to the ISKCON, she kicked everybody's ass, she collect, and she brought like thousands of white roses. I remember when they brought his body, they put in front of Prabhupada, outside, like in Pandal, his body, thousands of white roses, and he was like lying, like just like sleeping, like in yogi meditation samadhi. And the people start coming, and there's a few Prabhupada disciples. Well, one American Japanese guy who married some kind of Russian lady came. There's like 3-4 Prabhupada disciples came. I was not very impressed with their depth. But I mean, I'm just trying to say the simple people, not some kind of a Siddhantic geniuses. But we had an incredible appreciation day of Anant Shanti Prabhu, who's Ananta Tirtha Swami. And that time, I had to speak. And some people don't know me from ISKCON, the young people. The older, they know. And I said to speak, and I had to mention Srila Prabhupada. I also mentioned all our, Govinda Maharaj's participants, like Janardhan Maharaj, Ashram Maharaj, Akoyananda Swami, Sagar Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj, all these people who actually, every time I meet ISKCON devotees at Pyramid House, and Shrimhananda, they always talk, oh, where's dear Krishna? Where's, I said, he's in Thailand. They all remember, like, they know Pancha Dravida. Oh, you know Pancha Dravida? I said, Pancha Dravida. Yeah, I not only know Pancha Dravida, I got several punches from the Dravida Desha. He's still punching at people around, and he's still like in Dravida Desha, different definitions. So
affection and guidance.
Yes. Yeah. So don't like. So they think like it's something changed since time. People don't change; they just become worse.
When I would call from Mexico, they said I would call somebody and they said, "Who's this from?" They say Pancha Dravida, and then they say, "This is a call from Mrs. or Miss Francisca," because Pancho is short for Francisco, but Pancha is short for Francine or Francisco.
Like I can tell you one now very confidential story about Janardhan Maharaj you never heard from anybody, so please remember for your children, grandchildren.
Don't.
One time, me and Janardhan Maharaj were in Vrindavan, and Janardhan Maharaj, we decided to go to ISKCON. That time, we went to ISKCON, and me and Janardhan Maharaj, we went to the Prabhupada's room. At that moment, it was what, Brahmananda?
Yeah, I think
There was Brahmananda, the brother of Gargamuni. The Brahmananda were staying in ISKCON room and speaking in Prabhupada. And there were many, many Russian or other younger devotees. And, Brahmananda were talking to Prabhupada. And me and Janardhan Maharaj, we were in the back, so we kind of like squeezed from the back. And Gargamuni talking about Prabhupada, and then Janardhan Maharaj. And Janardhan Maharaj, he present in Prabhupada's departure. Not only that he's present, he was accompanying Prabhupada. And some people don't know how, Janardhan Maharaj had some really intimate relationship with Srila Prabhupada. So at that time when Gargamuni talking about Prabhupada, Janardhan Maharaj from the back start shouting, "Hey, Gargamuni!" And Gargamuni said, "Who is this?" And he said, "That's me, Pancha Dravida." And I don't want to criticize anybody, but he should have said, "Oh, this is the dear devotee of my god brother." It didn't happen. I think the ego took over that thing. But I see like Janardhan Maharaj shouting, like, "Hey, my brother, it's me. I haven't seen you for 30 years. Or maybe 50 years, whatever." But to me, because I was witnessing this, I said, all these people, they they're like have such a deeper connection with Srila Prabhupada. And although they may not get 100% alone, but Janardhan Maharaj had so much hope to say, "Hey, I am here. I'm one of you." And for some reason, I'm not trying to make any judgment. I'm reporting. Instead of like inviting Janardhan Maharaj and say, "Hey, this is my god brother. He's also sannyasi," it didn't happen. I wish. This would be a normal people ethic to do that, but it didn't happen. But still, then Janardhan Maharaj told me a story, and you should ask him that story. So one time when Prabhupada was passing away, Janardhan Maharaj came to him and Prabhupada said, "Oh, you give me Tirupati darshan." And the story is when Janardhan Maharaj was with Prabhupada, Prabhupada sent him to Tirupati to negotiate visit of Prabhupada to Tirupati, Tirumala. And for those who does not know what it is, it's the whole city in the mountains where a beautiful deity of Shibalaji resides. So it's the whole city. It's the whole city ashram. Like you're talking about ashram in Santa Cruz, just imagine Santa Cruz is whole ashram of that place. So Janardhan Maharaj went and he said, "I'm on behalf of Srila Prabhupada." And they said, "Okay, yeah, we'll accept him. He's a famous Vaishnava guru." And Janardhan Maharaj looked at the place where you put him.
I could tell the story.
Yes, tell the story.
Well, we were staying in Hyderabad, which is
Speak of the phone.
we're staying in Hyderabad, which is Andhra Pradesh, and Prabhupada wanted to go to Tirupati, so I'm in Tirupati. I'm like 27, 28 years old at the time. So want to arrange for Srila Prabhupada to come there. And I said, "So Srila Prabhupada will come here?" And they were very enthusiastic. Yes, we want to receive him. And then I said, "But you also have to receive all of his disciples. He has many Western disciples and disciples from all over the world. So I have to let them all have darshan of Balaji and everything." And they said, they hesitated for a minute or so, and they said, "Well," and I said, "Okay, if you don't want to do that, let's just forget about the whole thing right now." And they said, No, we will arrange. We will arrange for him to have darshan along with all of his disciples." then I said, all right then, where will he stay? And he said, I show you, and they took me to this room. And I looked at the room. I'm like 28, 27, 28. I look at the room. I said, this room's not good enough. They said, what do you mean it's not good enough? They said, all the gurus stay here. I said, that's just the problem. He's not just one of your gurus. He's not just a guru. So this place is not nice enough. You have to have some other place for him. Then they said, then they took me to, at that time the chief minister was named Brahmananda Reddy. He had a bungalow there in Tirupati. So they took me to that bungalow. It was very nice. It was a very nice place. And they said, how about this place? Is this good enough? And I said, yes, this place will do. So then they gave that, and they made all these arrangements for Srila Prabhupada. But I don't know why they listened to me, but they did. And then we took Srila Prabhupada to Brahmananda Reddy's place, and they were arranged, and they would bring in so many things for Srila Prabhupada. And Tirupati is probably the richest temple in India. There's so many people that go there. And that's why it's administered by the government. It's not administered by any religious group, principally. It's run by the government, so they control the finance. So anyway, then the chief minister, he came, and he's talking with Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada's discussing with him, and that chief minister wanted to give some impersonalist philosophy. So he said, I think that we're all like bubbles in the ocean, and then those bubbles, they burst, and then they merge with the water of the ocean. And then Prabhupada said, but you try to understand that there, along with the bubbles in the ocean, there are aquatics like sharks and, so many animals that live in the ocean, and they don't evaporate, they don't burst, they don't merge with the ocean, they live always in the ocean. And then that man said, no, this is outside my analogy. My analogy is bubbles and water. And then Prabhupada said, yes, but you try to understand that also in the ocean there are aquatics like sharks and whales, and they always live in the ocean. So they don't merge with the ocean. And the man tried to insist upon his point, and Prabhupada was arguing like this, and Prabhupada
bubble man.
Prabhupada repeated several times, and finally the man was worn down. Prabhupada said, "Do you understand?" And the man said, "Yes." And then Srila Prabhupada said, "So many tons of blood I must burn to convince fools like you." This is the finance minister. So, but Prabhupada could speak in that way, and then people would, they would worship him. He is just, that's the nature of sadhu. The word sadhu means can cut. And if some wrong conception, Prabhupada didn't hesitate from saying what is the proper thing. Okay. Anyway, that man came, and then Prabhupada came to Tirupati. He's with the devotees, and normally people have to wait 6-7 hours to get into Tirupati for darshan. But when Prabhupada came with his disciples, they emptied out the temple and gave him darshan, and then let people back in. So, and one morning, early in the morning, they took Prabhupada and his disciples into the deity's room. I mean, there was no electricity or anything. It was just dark, and we go in there early in the morning, and they have a big camphor lamp, about so big around. And they light the camphor, and they're giving darshan of Balaji from the feet, the waist, the head, around Balaji, showing by burning camphor. And then after they show the darshan, in this big spoon, they have a bucket, a big tub of water, and they throw the spoon into the water, and then it's dark again. But I don't know who gets that kind of treatment. I don't think anybody gets that kind of treatment. But they gave that treatment to Prabhupada. But it wasn't, like I said, I don't know why I spoke that way, and I don't know why anybody listened to me. But
It happens sometimes, Maharaj.
then years later, when Srila Prabhupada was leaving, 1977, he was in Vrindavan. And he said, it was dark in the room, and he heard, I was in his room, I was there kind of keeping watch, and he heard something, and he said, who? And then I told him who I was, and then Prabhupada said, oh, by your mercy I've seen Tirupati. I began crying. I said, by my mercy. I said, I wouldn't even know what Tirupati is. I wouldn't know what Balaji is if it's not for your mercy. Without your mercy, I don't know what Balaji means to anything. You know? So that, anyway, somehow or other, it was nice. Prabhupada, he said that. And, so was with, many years lived with Srila Prabhupada in India. And when I wanted to go to India, I had to leave to renew my visa. So then Srila Prabhupada told me, you're going to, I said, yes, I'm going to Thailand to renew my visa. And then Prabhupada said, well, one thing, when you go there, do one thing, open a temple there. I said, but I'm just going there to renew my visa. And then Prabhupada said, in Bengal it is said that the reaping machine will reap paddy in heaven or hell. So we have to be like that reaping machine. So then, okay, I go to Thailand. But many years with Prabhupada. And I didn't leave India just because Prabhupada at that time was about 1971 to about 70, well, towards the end, Prabhupada spent like 7-8 months of the year in India. About 4 months in the West, sometimes 5. But the whole year he was in India, and we'd travel with him. So I was not any big shot or any special person, but I could go into Prabhupada's room and just sit there and listen to him. And that was very nice. Those were special days. Anyway, anyway, I know that Avadut Maharaj and his father, Vijay Raman, I went with him to Vrindavan, Avadut Maharaj's father. And he didn't speak so much English. And of course, I don't speak any Russian, so we're on the train going together. The Tufan Express, which could be called the Too Slow Express. It's a very slow train. I think it goes from Navadip to Vrindavan. It goes through Navadip. We're going to Mathura, actually, Mathura Junction. We're going there, and I'm with his father, and sometime we're communicating, and then I said to his father, oh, I knew you know yoga. And his father said yes, and then his father went like this. And he spit on his hands, and they rubbed them together, and then his father did a handstand on the train, the moving train, He's like 70 years old, or maybe 60 something, 70 years old. He's doing a handstand on the moving train with his feet up in the air. His father is a very good yogi. And then we got to Vrindavan. So I was thinking his father is very special. So I went to one store called Hira Jewelry, and I got for his father one silver ear cleaner, which his father liked very much. He thought it was like one of the best presents.
Yeah, I love it. For some reason, you get along together very well.
Yeah, his father is very, very wonderful.
But I can tell you one funny story how my father took sannyas. You may not have heard it. So there was one devotee named Bhuvan Prabhu who had translating the books. And he got into cancer. And I started sending him some alternative medicine, but he's got under his family pressure.
Bhuvan Mohan, huh?
Yeah, so his family, his wife pressured him to go to doctor, to go to chemotherapy. I told him that may not do the best for you. In a year, I said, you come and take sannyas and you try to treat alternatively, and you stay in our mountain ashram and pure water, air, some green. That maybe help you, because Haridasi also had cancer. We cured her, staying in 1 hour ashram in Crimea, where we have cows and things. But his family putting too much pressure on him, and final story, he called me and he said, now doctor give up on me. He said, nothing works on you, like you have to die. I said, still, there's chance for you to come and take sannyas. And he said, I'm very ill, you cannot believe. I look at his picture at like Zoom, and he was like almost lost all his body weight. I said, still, if you can make it. So it came to Abkhazia. At that time, I could not go to Abkhazia because the Ukrainian war is going on. I have to stay outside. I stay somewhere in India. So he's coming, and I thought, okay, we'll give him sannyas. Maybe how far he's going to make it, we'll see. But at least he's a very inspiring person. Give a man encouragement. The last moment of his life. But then another guy who head of our Crimea ashram, I thought, this guy is also brahmachari, is good, he will take sannyas. And then my father went in. I thought, my father is also good if he takes sannyas, because my mother died. It's already like more than a year, and he doesn't belong anywhere. He's just like hanging out with Krishikesh Maharaj, coming this festival, that festival. It's kind of like detached. But I told my father, will you take sannyas? He said, no, I'm not qualified. He always he never thinks he's qualified. He's the most qualified, but he never think. Like a humble man. I said, okay, then you assist Bhuvan Prabhu taking sannyas. So there's 3 of them come to the room, and Hrishikesh Maharaj is there, and so we're doing the sannyas ceremony and mantra. And I told my father, so we're giving the name, Bhuvan got named Narayan Maharaj, because I understand he's already liberated. This Indradyumna Brahmachari, he's got named Damodar Maharaj.
Okay, so that's not Bhuvan Mohan, that's different.
No, it's a different Bhuvan, but also maybe Mohan, I don't remember Bhuvan. But I told my father, now you've heard sannyas mantra. I said, that's sacred, you don't get out of without saffron dress. And I said to Hrishikesh Maharaj, you have extra dress? He said, yes. I said, give it to him. And then I said to my father, okay, Gurudev call you Vijay, so your name will be Bhakti Vijay Narasimha. And he's like, wow. And so he's kind of like, that's how I give him sannyas. Well, with Hrishikesh Maharaj and others. And then, he was very shocked. But now that a couple of years passed, I told him, come with us to India. And he said, I don't know if I'm 87, my health. I said, don't worry, you come in India. If you die in India, it's good. I said, you don't look like this. When you're sannyasi, what do you care? Father said, yeah, but I'm taking care of things. I said, don't worry, just come in India, Krishna's will. So he came to India, he did the whole parikrama, and he was very happy to see Sandeep, the deities, the devotees, and etc. And you know, he's always asking, "How's Junard Marsh doing? How's Ashram Marsh doing?" I said, "Yeah, everybody's doing fine." So he has some attachment with Junard Marsh, and I think if they meet somewhere in India, he will be very happy. But you know, so that means our family is growing and growing, and one way or another way, you know, you get what meant to be. So sometimes you think, some people tell me, "Oh, this has happened to me." I said, "That meant to happen." Like, you know, when I get something good, I said it meant for me to happen, or something bad, I also say it meant for me to happen, due to my previous karma or situation. So I want to ask leave, excuse disappearance, not full disappearance, partial disappearance, but it was an incredible moments of sadhu sangha, association of devotees, especially see Jamunaji and all the ladies, Sanatani, all the mamushkas, babushkas, and grandmothers, grandsisters, Divya Shakti, the dancers, Bimalas, you know, the baby faces. She's not only has baby face, there's another baby face. I'm not gonna show the finger, point the finger. We got a couple of baby faces, you know, like, and he's always complaining why I'm not shaving beard, because I don't want to be baby face like you.
Nothing will help you.
Like Ramachandra, he has baby face, but not like, you know, like with little washing plates. And I'm so happy to see the grandmother, you know, Raikeshwari Didi, which is like, basically I consider her grandson as my grandson because I'm acting through my Russian proxy. My helicopter pilot, the Cosmos TV, we film a lot of films.
Since you mentioned Bhuvan Mohan, I'll mention something about him. He's from Brazil.
Mars, I have to go because Suda's gonna...
this will take a minute.
All right.
He was before Parvat Maharaj from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Then he became married. He got married to Govinda Mohini in Brazil, and he opened one restaurant there. I think it was called Prima, and anyway, he translated all of Govinda Maharaj and Guru Maharaj's books into Portuguese. He was a professional translator. Then towards the end, and I visited him and his son, he had a very beautiful son, and then towards the end, Srila Acharya Maharaj went to Brazil, and Bhuvan Mohan had cancer, and he said, "Before I die, I want to take sannyas." And then Acharya Maharaj said, "Yes, you come to India, and then we'll give you sannyas." I said, "He's not going anywhere. He's not going to make it to India. So you give him sannyas here." And then Acharya Maharaj said, "But where will he live?" I said, "It doesn't matter where he lives. You know, he can live in the same house as his wife or anything. It doesn't matter anymore. You know, so just..." And then Acharya Maharaj gave him sannyas, and he became Tapasvi Maharaj. Very, very wonderful person. So I'm just mentioning, I should mention Bhuvan.
It was glorious, actually, very glorious, man.
Yeah. So, Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Abhadut Maharaj ki Jai.
Anyway,
The Russian Yatra ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Shri Govinda Mela ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
give me that watch.
No. It's not gold. I can't give you something that's not gold.
All right, next time. Okay, Swamiji.
Hey! You don't have to move the mic, man. That's not.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
What? Don't worry about it. Oh, I'm worried about it.
Hey, be quiet.
Swami, give me a hug. Let's go.
Okay, we're going.
Hey, Ramachandra.
He's very hot-headed. He's very hot-headed. Hey.
Okay, I see everybody.
Radhe Sham. You protect Govinda Maharaj. Ramachandra's very angry.
I'm good, man. I was just sending him off.
Kill his driver. How will he get
Raj, it's a Tesla. It drives itself. Don't worry.
coming back, Maharaj?
I can come back, but Sudarshan. Sudarshan.
Darshan. Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, right now. Do we have a wireless microphone? Oh, Sudarshan. Oh, it's the thing. Yeah, sorry about that. Where are you going? Oh, kirtan for the road?
I guess.
Oh, okay. Or did you want you to do kirtan here?
Well, I didn't quite get it, but I think Sharnagi was thinking to do kirtan and move them that way. How about Amma Samarpane? How about a songbook? Amma Samarpane. Give ourselves the world. I think there's a whole thing with the kids and like interviews.
Dandavats, dear devotees, Janard Marsh has given the instruction that we should all take prasadam.
Jai!
So just stay where you are. The kitchen needs a few minutes. They're just transferring now, so in a few minutes they'll come out and set up right here, like usual. So that's our instruction. We're going to follow it with happy smiles. Okay, Dandavat.
Shri Govinda Mela ki
Jai!
Jai!